Interesting how the mind works. When you connect to people, um, your mind works in a very abstract manner, especially when you're talking on these devices that past, present, future operate at the same time. So it transcends the conversation. If you're an important person and the conversation is very relevant, you're going to have conversations that have a perpetual understanding of what you talk about and how you talk about things. And since I only have one life story as me to share, then you repeat a lot of the same things because you're talking about similar stuff. One of the nice things about talking is when you do things right, you have a lot less talking to do, and not having a lot to say because not a lot is needed to say is a very good thing in a lot of ways, especially when there's a lot less superficial frivolity and narcissistic expression and attention-seeking irrationality that's is definitely a threat to us psychologically, mentally, and emotionally, physiologically. If you're seeking a lot of superficial attention for narcissistic expression, like what's happened for tens of thousands of years since we've been able to, since Homer started writing stories down for the Greeks and stuff, and all that narcissistic, heroic bullshit because you're not living intelligent, faithful, kind, caring lives. You've got all this aggressive, violent, selfish, animalistic type interaction and behaviors that leads to a lot of if you go out there's the gooby globbies, and you go this way, there's the, because you're off doing things you really shouldn't do. You can do it, and you go do it. You build a boat, and you go out looking for, okay, there's people there, and there's people to conquer, and there's sexual conquest, and all the things that crazy wackadoodles do. And, Little Green Valley by Marty Robbins, and someone waits, got the end of blah, 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 and you're like, who would ever leave Little Green Valley? Mostly a narcissistic, selfish, aggressive person who's never happy with still waters and green pastures, right? That's typically who leaves Little Green Valley. Is a narcissistic, selfish person who's never happy. The grass is always greener on the other side. Me and Law used to have that talk all the time, and I don't think it's a Gemini trait. I think it's just bad brain chemical activity by hanging out with the wrong people. She's a military brat. When you hang out with a lot of aggressive, selfish, champion, violent people, the group brain activity is very, very destructive and selfish, and is something that needs to just be. You can't really have a 12-step program or things. It just needs to be eradicated, because if they could self-correct, they would. And so that they're not capable of self-correcting, obviously. They'll gladly kill for me and my grandpa's money and watch you and your Jesus died Parsons to the bitter end. And when Rockefeller's talking about the bitter end, he's not talking about my life. He's talking about he was in military espionage intel and yada yada. And then by the time he got to his bitter end, he was getting to his bitter end by the time he came and talked to me in Sierra Vista when I'm walking around telling me these fucking assholes. And you try to find a new world order or controls for them, and they don't have any controls. Their ambition, you think, okay, it's time to do this. I understand I was young once too, Take your time, think a lot, think of all the things you got, for you may still be here tomorrow, but your dreams may not. All the times that I've cried, keeping all the things I've known. Yeah, it's hard, but it's harder to ignore it. And then you get all these people, these things they've been showing me, dua and sleep with the things with the Quran. The Quran was written, and Muhammad said specifically not to write the Quran down. He said to live the Gospels, be the Gospels. That if you write them down, they will become tribal, secular, and an extension of your egomania. And if you speak it, if you recite it, if you commit it to memory, it will be the wrong thing to do, because you won't be doing that which when you think correctly, because you're humble and it's righteous, eternal faith, and you speak correctly and you act correctly, there's no necessity to write it down. It takes care of itself. And they're like, well, what about Proverbs? What about this one? Proverbs and Psalms are two of the best written word that we have to focus us on real faith in God. It's just the Romans, the Greek Roman Heracles culture stuff. Took it and turned it into first-person possessive pronoun bullshit. Like when people are singing, God saved my soul, my Savior, they're not singing to Jesus, they're singing to their ego, okay? Christmas carols have a lot more about, Christmas carols are more, I like Christmas carols, when I think about Jesus and the eternal spirit of Jesus, which, most people, you're an egomaniac, is me. Yeah, so, long lay the world in sin and error until he appeared and the soul felt its worth. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices, oh, night divine that Christ was born. So the one who will stand up and remind us that we're the soul, not the flesh, and not to fight over the delusions of the flesh, and this is the child that will help free us from our sin, because he's the one who has the humility to remind us that faith in God and that we're not God. And, so yeah, I really like Christmas carols. But as, and God said, my soul, possessive pronoun, my Savior, how great thou art. They're talking about their imagination. They're not talking about living the ways of, till the soul felt its worth, right? So I really am fond of Christmas carols. Do not like most hymns, right? Most church hymns, possessive pronoun, my ego, my possessive pronoun, ego. Oh, how great thou art. And that's how most hymns are. Work hard, because I gotta do a job. It's about me and the rest of the slobs winning the contest. It's contest. We won the Super Bowl. Case Hans keep bowling around. And I hate them. And so I don't like going to churches. Because it's like, oh, what are we doing? Well, today. And then on Christmas, it's like, wow, I like Christmas. Jesus is going to remind us that, a soul felt its worth. We're given life by the glory of God, right? So church on Christmas, when we're focused on Jesus, really nice. Easter, he had to die to pay for my ego. Shit, we suck again, right? So I like Christmas. Christ Mass, yeah, it's about the only time I ever tolerate the large groups of money-grubbing, egotistical, how great thou art to their artwork in their head. It's about the only time I really tolerate them is during Christmas. Christmas, that's about it. That's all it is, pretty much. And now I've gotten to the point where I know, because I know they're going to go right back to, he had to die to pay for my disgusting how great thou art. $6,000. This is the ark. Those are dinosaurs. Yeah. Flying J will help you. Get a nice warm shower and back to work and pay your bills and stimulate the economy and cause global warming. And then go to the doctor and get your help from your lifestyle not being as healthy as it should be. Because there's different forms of stress and irrationality, and then if you take comfort in foods that make you feel like, and everybody calls them comfort foods. You should see them more as shutdown foods. Helping your body feel like eventually this is going to end sooner than later. Hope it's not later. And, when you're dealing with the military, they're going to manipulate the environment and the scientists to make themselves look appropriate and right and make you look wrong. And it's quite simple to poison Haile Selassie and make him look wrong, and Bob Marley, and make it look like an act of God killed them, as opposed to being poisoned. Right. Okay, you do know that cancer is poisoning from stress and toxic environment. Okay, and the body either is saying it's going to live and assimilate to the disgustingness and survive and live to fight another day, or die from depression because the disgustingness is never going to stop. And I've known lots of people that, it's never going to stop, and I just got to let go because I can't do it anymore. Right? My mother, Killian's father, things like that. And murder should piss all of us off. Young Mr. Paulson, I'm determined to stop it. And it's like, that's okay, I'm working on it. And I'm going to, I'm stopping it. Okay. I'm in the process of stopping it. It doesn't have a solution as far as, we'll raise more money and cure cancer. The cure to cancer is the end to, which I discussed with his mother when I met Coach Henson. Yeah. And he was excited because he listened and he understood it. He was older. And she said, you trying to tell me the people that are, I'm going to cure my cancer are the cause of my cancer? Yes. Okay. That if you had enough money and resources just to go to Kingston and Hillsborough and maybe come into town once a week to see the kids play, in a Tesla, because you have the money in a nice car and stuff, and then go back to relaxing and have no bills, no stress, no toxins, that you'd go into remission and your cancer would go into remission and you'd have your hair back and and things would be going a lot better for your husband and your son. But you'd need just like not quite $2 million a month from the Temple of Set Illuminati, but a lot of money, comfortable, for their family, and their bills probably be about anywhere from $4,000 to $10,000 a month. And then him and her would have no worries. They'd garden and exercise with their kids, go to games and go to gladiator games, come back. Oh, the gladiators are trying their best. They're doing good. They'll win the Arizona Bowl. I know it for sure, right? And so, and she didn't get to experience that. They killed her before. She did get one of her favorite kids, and one of the favorite kids of hers and his. She did get to see him play for the Atlanta Falcons to pay his family's bills. So he had enough money to try to get his mom moved somewhere but that didn't last. He wasn't one of the top professional players that could really deliver his family from poverty with tons and tons of superficial, let's, invest into another business, do lots of commercials and date a super diva, possibly marry her. So, that's very rare, and it's, the rest of them, their money goes real quick, and then they get involved with gambling schemes and then get banned for life. And he had a promising career. No, he didn't. He was going to be out of the league in probably about 2 to 3 years. So he's trying to cash on in as much money as he could. So he got in illegal gambling schemes to while he was in there, to increase his money, because he could see the writing on the wall. No, there's going to be, first 4 out, right? And so you forgive debt and trespass, love one, eternal, faithful peace. Wow. So when you're playing basketball and it's your time to play and let the kids play, and these new kids come in, okay, well, that was fun while it lasted. While it lasted, you get it, and then you're going to still go into your local community where you have guys that get together and play at the YMCA in front of smaller crowds, or at the church in front of smaller crowds, but you're going to still enjoy it, and you're going to enjoy the guys you play against. You're going to have less travel and less, less focus of attention, so less people know who you are. You won't be going to hotels and restaurants because those will be pretty much, even the Canterbury Tales. It's going to be radically different, And the funny thing is most people don't understand, is it wasn't until recently in human history that we had hotels and restaurants. in taverns and stuff. Usually it was when you came to a place, you had to pretty much kind of show that, do we want you near our family, to sleeping next to our family at night? Are you up to no good? Are you a spy? Or are you someone else, from the different language groups setting up, so it was the evolution of human tribalism, as we'd perceive it, you know, has had its radical changes because of the severity of the socio-psychopathic behaviors of the espionagist. Hey, the space race. Yeah, there we go. Ronald Reagan. And so, you have all this stuff. You just got to get people to understand just how insane they are. Like the whole thing the other night with, the alien stuff and the president showing us all the stuff about aliens. Feynman had a lot of good points. It would be really hard and difficult for a warring race that was violent and destroying their own planet to be able to focus on, because you wouldn't want to, you'd focus more on saving your planet from your own self-destruction than you would, where are you going to outsource your destruction and be Khan, right? And so, and Romulans and Klingons are just a radical projection of the other side that Splinter and planking with, right? And so when you're looking at all these fantasies that these people have, when you look at the facts, Einstein had less of the facts when Feynman had more of the facts after the facts. He sat there and said, no, it's improbable next to impossible for them to survive. What if they're cryogenically frozen? What we see from the facts of evolution through creation, supports that there's like planets that are like ours, and they're like infancy. They have the harsh conditions, and then the animals that for symbiotic life form are have much more harsh interactions, more savage, more instinct and stuff. And by the time a rock from another part of the galaxy that has the symbiotic forms of creation and evolution that has a Homo sapien or Homo erectus and stuff like that, that it's drawn to those planets by the sun to have an impact and then to have a symbiotic metamorphosis of which we'd refer to it as, of symbiotic interaction for the creation through evolution, as we perceive it, of life that is different than what was there before. So instead of the velociraptor, you have the Homo sapien, right? Which is far superior in maintaining a solar system that has a third rock from the sun, with so forth. And so it's interesting that it's neat the way that the symbiotic relationships through an infinite essence, through eternal existence, work in the guidance, like Muhammad explained in the in eternal faithful gospels, but gets corrupted in scripture because these people don't understand it well enough, because they're trying to replace God with the first person ego, as opposed to understand God as an infinite essence, that the way it works goes beyond our understanding. You can't, and that's why Feynman's broken, because what broke Feynman is Zeus, Apollo, Homer, so forth, and then all those, the Machiavellis and the so forth, taking the true, eternal, faithful communications that also go through people like Albert Einstein, the lines of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, all you slaveholders, Ananiah, Azariah, and Michael, all you people, Toby, Kunda, freedom, right? And so in that understanding, I think probably the most likelihood of any things that we see as far as UFOs and stuff like that are probably caused by wormholes that have probably had to be dismantled and dealt with in the future to save our present from developing our own black holes. Because, if we have to build a wormhole to go live somewhere else because we screwed this up, is that tangible? Why would you do that? Why would you keep destroying and put up things that destroy galaxies and cause imbalances in the natural balance in order to save yourself? Because your physical self is out of balance from the balance and harmony of faith in eternity through the infinite essence of the soul, right? So, forgive them, Father, for they know what they do. I know. As far as management of all this stuff, I don't know. I don't know where it's at. I can't tell you because we're still dealing with the violent cults that cause the problems, to be the solutions to the problems. I can't tell you right now. It's not solely me that, I'm the focal point of the quote solution to the problems by not being the problem to be the solution. But I can't tell you because the problems won't come and tell me, hey, I want to be part of the solution, right? So, I can't tell you. The people that gave you all the president's men and all the president's women since they took me to Fort Huachuca, to Sierra Vista, won't come and, well, they can't come treat me as a peer. They're not my peer. Okay. They are radically inferior to me. They've got egomaniac problems that put the entire human species at risk. Okay. So that there's not a celebrity and a propaganda artiste on the planet that is, really worthy of sitting down because they lose their minds. Oh my God, they'd be worse than the little Japanese women from the village with Suzuki. Look what they did to your beautiful body. Like with the little girl that hit the truck with Patrick and Patrick doing the cartwheels because of his adrenaline. And I could have killed him. No, I'm his dad. I saw it was coming. I made it safe for all of us because when you hit us, you hit not the engine and the motor, you hit the back bed of the thing right at the tires where it wouldn't, the least amount of damage because you were going to hit us to you and would actually protect you, but tear up my new truck. And she was coming right at the front of the truck, right towards Patrick, because she got in a fight with her boyfriend, and she was, and I kept asking her, she goes, how can you be so calm? Because they're called accidents. They'd be called on purposes if they were on purposes. So what happened? What was wrong with you? And she said, well, I got to fight with my boyfriend. I said, do me a favor, the boot, say, take a walk. Next time you get in a fight with your boyfriend, get out of the place, go to someplace safe to walk where you won't be hurt by other people because you're distracted, and walk in an area where there's lots of people, that can keep you safe from being assaulted by bad people that would take advantage of you, and take a walk and walk it off. Think it off, okay? Walk in a public park in the middle of the day where people are out that can help you and keep you safe from bad people that would predicate on you because you're vulnerable, because they can smell your emotional vulnerability. I didn't say that, but I'm thinking it. And thinking it now. Hell yeah, I am. And so I told her that, and she was so astonished and amazed. It was a teenage girl, and she was just, I can't believe that you're being this calm and this sweet and this nice. I could have said, you weren't going to kill my son. You weren't going to hurt my son. I was driving the truck. I hit the suicide line and hit the gas, and you hit the back of the truck. Yeah. It's a goddamn truck. I care about you, and I care about Patrick, and I care about me. The truck and the car, I'll park them all to end heart disease and kill Ian and Cameron so we can all live long, healthy, holy covenants till the end of time. I'm the gracious good shepherd, and don't you ever fucking forget it. Okay? So a lot of you guys, if you're eating lots of processed sugars because you've been chemically poisoned to shut down, let's try to amp back on that. Try to eat more salads. Try to eat more fresh fruits and vegetables. Once you eat more fresh fruits and vegetables and more salad, your body will start to process things better. And a lot of things in your body that are, I don't know how that works with, I can't tell you how that works if you're already taking their insulin. I can't tell you. I'm not a doctor, and I'm not a drug manipulator. I can't tell you, once you start taking Gascovy, when you take Gascovy, if you don't take Gascovy, then we give you, like what happened with Chris. I have a different body than most people. When they put the crap, they can put like heroin and alcohol, ethyl alcohol in your body. When I stop taking it, and then I go through withdrawal, and I have a far efficient immune system and cardiovascular system and heart than 99% of the populace. So I can't give you, quote, good medical advice to the problems you have because of all the solutions at the buildings with the body repair and the mind repair people through drugs, electrotherapy, and Granger, the people that get it done. So I can't tell you for sure. I will be able to help. I'm helping right now. I share caregiving, quarantine, built to last, park your cars, bars, and wars, live the Lord's Prayer. So I'm helping right now. But I'll be able to help even more so with good, intelligent people in the near future once I correct this technology with my living evidence and example of being the gracious good shepherd. So, okay, guys, I love you. I got to go do this. I got to do some chores outside. Then I got to watch the basketball games. The Cougars and the Cats are playing, and the Rattlers and the Mustangs, and the other things. And so, and the girly girls are playing right now. Trying to sit there. I think what I'll do is I'll watch some of the Greyhounds girls and theirs because they're in a tight race, and then I'll go back later and then watch the Mustangs boys, and then go back later tonight and watch the Mustang girls and the Greyhound boys. I'm pretty sure the Greyhound guys hopefully should win, but Kingsville has a tough team. They're really good. Okay. I love you guys. All right. Peace out.